Previously on Balls.
Bollocks. We've got something really exciting to tell you this week. I have twittered it a little bit. There's a lad called Leon Petzer, right? He doesn't know much about football. He's just watched his first ever game a week ago. He watched Arsenal, a side in England that I'm quite fond of. He says he doesn't know much about football, but he likes our show, and he would like to give us R1,000 to bet. In fact, what he's done is he gives us R1,500 that we can bet with topodds.com, our backers, on any game that we wish. Luckily, I've got Matthew Patterson, the Wits and former Newcastle player next to me, former Sundowns player, former Bafana player, and he knows a little bit about football. We should really look at rugby as well, because Leon is a man that knows his rugby. We're getting Brandon from Top Odds up now, because this is going to be some delicate negotiation. Brandon, are you there?
Yes, hi Neil, how are you?
Brandon, I'm just explaining to our listeners and viewers that we've got not 1,000, but R1,500 to bet. And let's just explain to guys, we have a charity here, and in fact I'm wearing their t-shirt today. It's the Wings of Change charity that the Balls Radio runs, Darren Scott's baby, so to speak, and I know that Maz, Will and Comfort have been very involved. In fact, all of us here, Sasha and all the people over there, very involved in getting charity money together. Now, what this Leon Petzer, who's at Thumper Pigeon, great name, at Thumper Pigeon on Twitter, he says, take this R1,500, bet it on a game. I was going to split it up, but Maz says it would be best to put it all on one game, and then if we win, that money goes to charity. If we lose the 1,000, but we keep the 1,000 or the 1,500 for next week. And he's going to do this. Is it 5 times he's going to do this, Maz? He's going to top us up if we lose, or 4 times or 5 times. He's got R5,000 he's going to put into this, and we hope to earn as much money as we can. No pressure, Matthew Patterson. We've got to pick the game now, mate. Brandon.
Yes.
As I say, I've got Matthew, professional footballer, used to play for Newcastle, Norwich, Sundowns, Santos for a while, and then Wits. He's next to me. Take us through Top Odds, and we will shout when we think we've got a game. We're going to go into www.topodds.com, down the green menu on your left. We'll go to football. I'm happy to look at rugby as well with the autumn internationals on. So we're down to soccer at the moment. I'm just waiting for it to come up. The obvious ones, Brandon, for me, just thinking off the top of my head, Orlando Pirates at Al Ahly on Sunday at 6 o'clock, and Man United Arsenal, which kicks off at 6 o'clock also on Sunday. Those will be the 2 games I'm looking at. Take us through those odds, please, Brandon.
Okay, well, we can start off with the CAF Champions League final, obviously. It's a massive game for South Africa. It's a massive game for Pirates. I think we predicted the draw in the first leg. And it's a pity it wasn't a 0-0 draw. I mean, actually getting that away goal, it's going to count for something. People aren't going to like what I'm going to say now, but I think Pirates will come short. I think I'll actually at home in that stadium with I don't know how many thousand Egyptians they're going to cram into that place. It's going to be a very, very tall order. Pirates have to score. Or what is it? It was a 1-1 draw, so they'd need a 2-2 draw or at least a 1-1 draw to go to penalties in that game. So it's going to be so tough. If you want to have a look at the odds, World Sports Betting, the only bookies at the moment out with betting so early in the week. 15 to 20 they're offering Al Ahly. That's just more than 7.5 to 10. 5 to 2 the draw. Just under 7 to 2 for Pirates. There might be a few South Africans there that reckon that's a bit of value. It's just going to be such a difficult game. I hope Pirates are up for it, but it's a tough order away, eh?
Brandon, just help me here. If we put our 1,500 on Orlando Pirates to either, is there a bet there which says a 2-2 draw or a win if they win it? Have we got odds for that? How much would we get back for our 1,500 if we bet on Pirates?
So let's just get this to you. Want to back Pirates to draw the game or to win the game?
I want to back Orlando Pirates to win the trophy, basically.
To win the trophy. Okay, we'll do a little bit of research for you on that. Okay. I'll let you know later on in the show.
Okay. What do you think, Matty? Matty, is it going to be? How tough is it going to be for Orlando Pirates? Is it worth gambling our 1,500 on them?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. Am I right in thinking that obviously in the group stages they Al Ahly played behind closed doors, did they?
They played behind closed doors at a stadium called Al Guna on the Red Sea. They were in Ramadan at the time and were fasting, and Orlando Pirates won 3-0 there, but drew here.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously make no mistakes about it. I mean, it's going to be a hell of a lot tougher going in now, full house, obviously, which Al Ahly will have behind them. But you can't write Pirates off. But I mean, I've obviously reading in the papers, etc. They've obviously had a massive blow with they've lost Andile Jali. I've read and Happy Jille as well, which is a massive blow to them, especially Jali. I think. I mean, I've played against him many times, and I don't like playing against him. I don't particularly like him on the field, and I've had many battles with him. So he's a tough player to play against, and they're going to miss him, I think, a lot. So how they're going to fill that void is obviously is yet to be seen. But it's a tall order, but we all behind them.
Brandon, I don't know. Look, let's go and look at another game. I'm too nervous about this. I feel so caught up in Orlando Pirates, African Crusade, all the contact we've had with Roger Dessar throughout this, that it actually makes me, bite my nails and kick my cat whenever Orlando Pirates are doing badly. So let's have another. Let's have a little look. Should we have a look at Arsenal Man United? Is that the other one we should look at?
Yeah, we can definitely look at that one. I think if you're looking to win money for charity, I mean, Pirates are a very, very good price. But I don't know if they'll win the game in 90 minutes. We'll do some research with regards to them lifting the trophy. They will be shorter. But are we going to bet with our hearts or with our head? That's the question.
I would be betting with my heart, because obviously when you go to Al Ahly, the champions and 7-time winners, they finally got a crowd back in this strange little, the Arab Contractors Stadium. They're not playing at the big one in Cairo, but they're also not playing on the Red Sea. Mate, I'm so nervous and so uptight about it. I can't face the thought of putting all our money on Orlando Pirates and losing it. It would be like the double blow of Pirates losing Leon's charity money. I couldn't do it, I don't think. Let's have a look at Arsenal Man United, because I'm also invested emotionally there. Let's have a look at those odds.
Newcastle Spurs as well, by the way.
See, I've got Matthew Patterson here very accurately pointing out. That's why he's here. Spurs against Newcastle is also an enormous game. Also on Sunday, it's the 4 o'clock kickoff South African time. The 6 o'clock kickoff is Man United Arsenal. Spurs Newcastle, great game as well. Let's have a look at both of those. Man United Arsenal. What do you think, Brandon?
Well, let's start off there. I was reading Sky Sports News a little bit earlier. Wayne Rooney coming out and saying that Arsenal. We'll see where they are in March. They're false leaders at the moment. The other big clubs, they've stammered at the start, and they generally fade away, Arsenal, come March. So let's see how good Rooney's predictions are. I was very impressed with Arsenal last night, though. They only had one shot on target. I mean, they made it count. Yep. Dortmund were all over him, and they really weathered a storm. My question in this game is the squad of Arsenal. They need to come out now after a massive game in Germany and play Manchester United at Old Trafford. I don't care who the manager is of Man United at the moment, to play at Old Trafford and beat them. I mean, you saw Mourinho come in at the beginning of the season and set up for a draw. So Arsenal are going to know they're going to be in a game, on Sunday. If you have a look at the odds, Manchester United are favourites. Lance Michael, Alan Bookmaker, offering 13-10, 5-4 offered by World Sports Betting. The draw's at 5-2, and Arsenal at 22-10. So United are clear favourites to win this one. It's going to be a very, very close game. And I'm going to put on my glory Man United shirt and say that.
No!
What? No, I don't think I agree myself. If obviously commenting on that game last night, you I think about Arsenal, you've seen a different side of Arsenal last night, which you haven't been accustomed to seeing in the last couple of years, and they've went 1-0 up and they've held onto the lead, and they've done well. They've sat behind the ball, and they've let Dortmund come onto them, and they've held onto it, which for Arsenal is you haven't really seen in the last couple of years, which was very impressive last night. So you've seen a different side to them now, and I think this season they're a different team, and United the same. They're a different team. Listen, I don't think they're looking as strong, and obviously with the change of manager, it's going to be a massive It's a massive factor in what's happened to them, but they just don't look as strong, and they're a bit disjointed and stuff. So I think it's a very interesting game, but I think I'm going to go for an Arsenal win there. I think.
I like to hear that, Brandon. This is obviously a forum where we have all different views, except if you're a Man United or Spurs fan. I quite like that, Brandon. What do you think? So Arsenal, what would you get back on Arsenal for 1,500 for a win?
If you had to put 1,500 on Arsenal, it's I think 3,000 500 the return, plus your 1,500 rand back.
That's right. We need to reinvest our 1,500 next week. We would make £3,500 rand, not pounds, rand for the Wings Have Changed charity, and that does sound quite attractive to me. But then, look, I'm being emotional again. I can't do this because obviously the history tells us that Manchester United once beat Arsenal 8-2, and my dog got a good kicking that day. And I'm worried about it. I'm distinctly worried about Arsenal after these two magnificent wins this week. The first ever English side to win in Dortmund, the trouncing of Liverpool. I just worry if they might fall off their perch a little bit over the weekend. But take me through Spurs Newcastle, because that's one that's got Matthew Patterson, a former Newcastle player, jumping up and down next to me. What do you think about that one?
Oh, geez, Tottenham, they've had a good season up to now. Newcastle haven't, although Newcastle, played well over the weekend. It's these games are so tight. I mean, I don't know how they can offer. I mean, they offer up Tottenham at 11 to 20. It's 5 to 10. I've said it all season. They're a second half team. They don't score in the first half. I wouldn't take that price. I'd watch the in-running betting on top odds on that front page and hope that it's 0-0 half-time, and then, have my opinion closer in. You never know how Newcastle are going to turn up. That's the reality. And, geez, it's just going to be an absolute cracker of a match. But you have to favour Tottenham at home. But I wouldn't be taking 11 to 20. Both Allen Bookmaker and World Sports Betting, just over 5.5 to 10. For Tottenham, that's a little bit short for me.
What do you think, Matty? Should we lump it all on Newcastle?
Listen,
Come on.
Listen, I mean, there's a couple of teams where Newcastle play away in a season, and I'll write them off. Liverpool's one, and Spurs is another. Chelsea is another. I think the last time we got a result at Spurs, I think I was playing the game actually. It would have been 7 years ago maybe. We won 3-2 away. Obafemi Martin stuck one in the top corner, and I was on the overlap, and I was screaming for a pass, and I was going to hammer him if he didn't stick it in the top corner, which he did. So at the end of the day, I couldn't complain. But we got a great result that day. Nicky Butt got the winner. But since then, I don't think we've got a result there, and I can't see us getting one. But to be fair, Spurs have struggled at home. I think they feel a bit of pressure from their fans, and obviously the manager coming out a couple of weeks ago and saying what he did about the fans, getting on the team's back hasn't helped. And I think obviously they had a 0-0 draw at Everton, which the money they spent in the off season, they're struggling for goals. Which when you spend that kind of money, there's got to be questions asked. So it's a strange one, but it's just my luck. I mean, all Spurs players will turn up on the weekend and they'll batter Newcastle. So I think we might be in for a good hiding. I think.
I'm counting on Newcastle to beat Spurs, but again, that's my bias is showing. Brandon, are there a couple of rugby games you wanted to look at? Because obviously there's some autumn internationals this weekend, aren't there?
Most definitely, and I think this weekend that's where the money's to be made. I mean, the soccer's difficult. I don't know if you can lump on 1,500 rand on an outsider this weekend and say we're doing good for charity. I think we might just be throwing money away.
Yes.
But obviously the Wales-South Africa game, I mean, that's a massive fixture. We'll open up the betting now. Heineken May has made a few changes. He's given Pat Lambie a start at the back, which most people were calling for. I think, they weren't impressed with Zane Kirshner against the All Blacks. Yeah. And Pat's got his start. And South Africa open at 6 to 10. Both bookmakers offering 6 to 10 for South Africa to win in Wales.
Yeah.
They usually struggle there. But geez, I think, if the game against the All Blacks, if South Africa didn't need 5 points to win the rugby championship, we would have opened up 6 to 10 to win that game and would have won it comfortably.
Yeah.
But the fact that we had to go and get bonus points and stop them from getting bonus points, it became a difficult thing. I think we're a very, very good side. I think our forwards will batter Wales on Saturday night. And I think if there's any bet, I'd be on South Africa to smash them at home in Cardiff.
Well, my granddad's from Wales, my mum was from Wales, Aaron Ramsey's from Wales. I think the Springboks are going to struggle. I think that Wales are one of the strongest. I mean, much better than they were in the days when they used to come over here and just be a routine walloping like someone like Italy. But yeah, okay, it looks a good bet to me. I know that Brandon, Leon Petzer, the guy that's actually providing the money for us to bet with, knows his rugby better than his football. So I'm going to put it to him that maybe we should be looking at putting the money on South Africa to beat Wales. 1,500 would bring us back a nice little return. and you're saying to me quite confidently that the Springboks will beat the Welsh.
Yeah, I think South Africa will win. I think it won't be pretty. It never is pretty. But I think our forward pack is just, if we play that Heineken Meyer kicking game and keep turning the Welsh around and get Bismarck and them on the front foot, geez, it's going to be. I don't think Wales will stay with us. I really don't. Our backline's improved. I think we'll win. I would be tempted to take South Africa there on the -2.5 offered by Lance Michael. You get a better price at 9-10, and South Africa must win the game by 3.
Yeah, no,
Mornay staying penalty.
Okay, guys, just to remind our listeners and viewers, we're looking at www.tokodds.com. We've looked at some football action. We've looked at some rugby odds. I mean, England, Argentina. England have got to be quite a good bet for that at Twickenham. Italy versus Australia. You think Australia could win away, but you can't tell with the Aussies these days. Ireland v Samoa is a good bet. And France v New Zealand, an absolute cracker. I mean, it's a great weekend for rugby as well as football this weekend. What I'm trying to do at the moment, Brandon, is get Leon Petzer, the guy who's actually putting up this money. I spoke to him about why he's doing this. He just wants to make money for charity, basically, and he's hoping that the combined wisdom of Matthew Patterson, me, and Comfort Keswa might provide charity money from the bookmakers, from tokodds.com and all their affiliates. Thank you, Brandon. Nice to talk to you. Remember next week, if Arsenal, Newcastle and Wales win, I won this week. I can't see it.
You'll have a better chance of Arsenal being 8 points clear. At the end of the weekend.
I'd love to see that, but most of all, I'd love to see Orlando Pirates, Kings of Africa. Let's see what happens there. Thank you, Brandon.
Have a good day.
Cheers, mate. Love to speak to you. Brandon, can we make one more chance at Leon Petzer? Well, I mean, Leon just came on to us on Twitter, didn't he, Maz, and said, I'd love to do that. I'd love to put some money. No one asked him, and he just came on and said, I'd like to put 5,000 Rand towards betting for charity, and if you guys can win money, that's great. If you don't win, it's not the end of the world. Although it will feel like the end of the world next week if we don't bloody make a profit, mate.
Hello?
Leon, can you hear us?
I can hear you now, yes.
That's better, Leon. Right, Leon Petzer. You're the guy that on Twitter came on to us, to Balls Radio, to me and to Maz and to Comfort, saying that you'd be interested in putting 5,000 Rand in various tranches towards winning money for charity. We have a conundrum here, Leon. I've got some good football bets that Matthew Patterson, the professional footballer next to me, used to play for Newcastle. We're talking about maybe betting on Spurs to beat Newcastle, maybe Arsenal to beat Man United, maybe Orlando Pirates to win this miraculous game in Cairo. But we also have some interesting rugby bets. Do you think South Africa are going to crush Wales in Cardiff?
Quite convincingly, actually. I think the spread is about 2.5, if I'm not mistaken, at 9-10.
Yeah.
And if they're going to beat them, they're going to beat them by more than 2.5 or 3 points, obviously, I'm saying. So, look, if you're going to go with a safe bet, I think that's a safe bet.
Yeah, you're disregarding my Welsh parentage here. But yes, no, I take your point. So, listen, what I think we'll do, Leon, is Matthew, me, Comfort, Maz, we'll have a little chat after this and we will Twitter where we're going to put this 1,500. My obvious move was to lump it all on Arsenal to beat Man United, because I think this is the time, this is the place, and Arsenal are the outsiders. If we put our 1,500 on Arsenal to beat Man United, we'd win 3,500 and keep our 1,500. What do you think about that, Leon?
I can't beat that. Look, you guys know the football. I'm not going to argue with you. Are you definitely going to put it all on one bet?
Maz is the expert, and she says to me she thinks we should keep all the money in one lump this week and put it all on one. So I'd be tempted to put 500 on the Springboks, 500 on Arsenal, and I'd go 500 on Newcastle to beat Spurs.
You think?
Matthew, you're an ex-Newcastle player, so...
I'm not a football expert in any way, shape or form, but I did look at the Tottenham Newcastle bet as well, and I also, like Matthew, thought that might be a good outside bet. 500, 500, 500. It'll be easy if they're all with the same bookmaker, and I think they all will be with Alan Bookmaker, if I'm not mistaken. Okay,
that's what I think we're going to do. Arsenal, Newcastle, and the Springboks. Brandon, I hope you're still listening. Maz is nodding her head. Matthew's nodding his head, although as an ex-Newcastle player, I think he'd be more vociferous. I want Spurs beaten. Comfort, happy?
Yeah.
Right, that's what we're going to do, guys. 500 on Arsenal, 500 on Newcastle to beat Spurs, 500 on the Box to beat Wales. That's our first bet. Thank you, Leon, for making that a very interesting little episode there, and I hope we win for you, mate. and win for
Pleasure, no
charity.
problem.
Thanks, Leon. Thanks for all your help on
Thanks,
this.
Leon.
At Thumper Pigeon on Twitter.
Cheers.
Great stuff.
He's a great name, by the way, on Twitter.
Yeah, at Thumper Pigeon. There he is, mate. Okay.
Visual Radio. Weekdays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central African Time. Radio like you've never seen it before. Balls.co.za